This is John Bailey, the epic voice of Honest Trailers, and you're listening to the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. It's a Fangirls podcast with five-ish people. The tangents and squee will continue. Squee.
The tangents and squee continue all the way to episode 482 of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. Where do you think you're going? Nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out on this fun, old-fashioned family Christmas. No. We're all in this together. This is a full-blown, four-alarm holiday emergency here. We're going to press on, and we're going to have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap dance with Danny Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's going to find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
Hallelujah. Where's the Tylenol?
No, that's later.
Yeah, but still. It's in there.
Would anybody like some eggnog?
Yes.
Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Fiveish Fangirls podcast. So like this, let's start off like you were with the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Just the two of us.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 'tis the season.
Yep. 'Tis the season for busy jobs, overtime for some people. So,
And cold sniffles.
on the other side of this, Brittany's going to have one hell of a paycheck. But until then, until then, she's got to survive the overtime.
Yes.
That's okay. Holly and I
Yes.
are here. Never
Yeah.
fear.
Exactly.
Chauncey might pop in. We'll see.
Oh, sweet. All
So,
right.
Not a guarantee, but we'll see.
So there might be
He
a
may
surprise.
show up. He may show up unexpectedly, like Cousin Eddie in an RV.
Wait
So
a
he'd be
minute.
slightly more welcome. All right.
Yes.
So, hopefully, even though we did not have a regular show last week, we did have an episode in the feeds
Yes, we did.
with my strangely recorded recap of GalaxyCon Columbus. We got back from Columbus, and I was looking at my schedule that week. I had an appointment after work every single day last week.
Oh, ouch.
I had something scheduled. So after a full work day, I still had to go on to something else before I could go home. I was like, well, that doesn't give me a lot of time to actually sit down and record, but I am going to be spending a lot of time in the car. So let's try this. No, the audio quality is not exactly where I'd like it to be, but whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Necessity is the mother of invention in this case.
Exactly.
Yep. So, but yes, you can hear about my shenanigans at GalaxyCon, and obviously, as you're hearing my voice, yes, I did survive meeting Weird Al, and then some. But you're gonna have to listen to the episode to hear all about it. So, that being said, we do have some news. Disneyland is making it very easy to plan next year's vacation. Because starting next year, Disneyland is launching its 70th anniversary celebration. So beginning May 16th, 2025, and running through summer 2026, because as we know in Disney, a year is 18 months at least. So
and then some.
Yeah, so it is 7 decades of happiness and many moments of joy in the making. And essentially, it's the theme is celebrate happy. So, um, which I guess is better than calling it a platinum celebration. So,
Yeah.
the 60th anniversary was a diamond anniversary, but considering their first feature length movie included 7 little men that mine gemstones all the time, diamonds work. This time maybe not so much. So, but included in the celebration is a new World of Color show over at California Adventure. World of Color Happiness. It will explore happy through a kaleidoscope of emotions, hosted by Joy and the other emotions from Inside Out, Inside Out 2. It will include snippets from a number of Disney movies because they've got a lot to pick from. So if you've never seen any of the World of Colors, I highly suggest going online and watching because it makes the fountain show at the Bellagio look like chump change. So
basically, here, hold my adult beverage.
Exactly. And a lot of times the new a special celebration means new over at in this case Disneyland usually means new parade and fireworks. Yes, new fireworks. Wonders well, kind of new to people who have not seen it before. It is a returning, it's Wonders Journeys, which celebrates the legacy of Walt Disney Animation Studios. And uses fireworks, projections, all sorts of fun stuff. I've not seen that particular show, so that's pretty cool. However, the one thing I'm really excited about is getting a new parade, a returning parade. And this is the parade they had for the Diamond celebration. This is my absolute favorite Disney parade until I see something otherwise. Paint the Night over at Disneyland. I love this parade, and the fact that it is coming back, I'm like, okay, sold. I will be booking my trip to Disneyland next year as soon as possible. Please and thank you. So, oh, I love this parade. The characters and the way that they are lit, and it's just really cool. And Mac, actually, from Cars, is one of my favorites. He's one of my favorite floats. And the song, the Paint the Night parade song, is just a bop. So I'm really excited to Paint the Night is returning. So and then over at California Adventure, Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration, which is a daytime parade. Apparently is also a returning parade, but one I've not seen before. Obviously Pixar. So those will be temporarily put on pause come Halloween and Christmas so that those seasonal shows can come in. But just the California Adventure stuff. But of course, new decorations for the castle. Mickey and Minnie are getting new outfits. There's gonna be lots of merch available. So and there'll be more to be announced as we get closer to the celebration. So but yeah, that's really exciting. And I've been saying to Chauncey, I'm like, it's been so long since we've been at Disney parks. Like, maybe we should go to Disneyland, because then we only have to worry about the 2 parks instead of jumping right back in and trying to do 4 parks in Florida after being out of practice for so long. And then they were like, hey, 70th anniversary celebration. I'm like, ooh, we went for the 60th. And they're like, Pay the Night's returning. I'm like, sold.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when.
And yep.
Yep. So that's exciting. And will also help numb the fact that Becky's been on the Disney Treasure and has been sharing all of her pictures from eating at the Marvel themed dining area. So, anyway, Doctor Who, moving on. So,
Yes.
we are getting another lost story.
Yoo-hoo!
We finally get to be able to watch in animated form. So the first Doctor adventure, and actually Stephen Taylor's last adventure, The Savages, is getting released on DVD and Blu-ray next spring. So yeah. But they all the, of course, in this case, all the master recordings were lost because the BBC wiped stuff.
I.e., let's burn it.
Yeah. Like, why do we have this sitting around collecting dust? But they did have the original audio. So they were able to use that and create the animated version. So, but this has got Hartnell's Doctor with Steven, Doda, and Dodo. And it's Steven's farewell. It's his final episode. So but that is that's pretty awesome. Anytime we can get who we never thought we'd hear and or see before again, in some cases, it's always exciting. So but yeah, it's a 3-disc release, all for 25 minutes, animated episodes, both in color and black and white, and some bonus features. So yeah, you can pre-order it from Amazon in DVD, Blu-ray, and Steelbook.
Ooh,
nice. I know y'all some out there are like, ooh, Steelbook? Yes, please. Going kind of back to Disney. This is a bit of news, but also a bit of a yay, flailing Kermit arms. Our good friend Lou Mongello, host of the WDW radio podcast, author, podcaster, perpetually reformed lawyer, Disney foodie. See, we get there. That's going to be coming down the pipeline as we get closer to the Disneyland celebration, the specialty food. They're working on the menus now. You know they are. Because they know Lou is going to be there at some point eating the stuff. But Lou, coming up this January at the Podfest Expo, is getting inducted into the Podcast Hall of Fame.
Nice.
So, yay! That is very, very exciting. Lou is just an amazing creator and podcaster, and he is the reason I started listening to podcasts in the first place, because I didn't know what the hell a podcast was, and I knew him from his old show before the WD radio. So but then when the old show ended and WDW radio started, I jumped on that bandwagon, and have been, I started listening to him from the beginning. I think we met for the very first time at least met in person in 2007, I think. uh so I've known Lou a long time. So but yeah, that's very excited, very happy for him. Hashtag goals. Hashtag podcasting goals. That's exciting. And then over in your feeds, if you've not refreshed your podcast feed recently, there's a new episode of Gold Standard for y'all that went out almost 2 weeks ago. So this recording, where we talk about Knives Out, which was a lot of fun because I really love that movie. It's so good. So there is that. All right, moving on to feedback. Got some feedback from Shalane. She says, "Welcome back, girls. I was a bit confused last week when Rachel said no show today, thinking it meant the episode would be posted the following day, but turns out there was no show out at all last week. No worries, though. We all survived the holidays. The holidays up to that point. On a phone note, I got to see Wicked and Moana 2 as a double feature, and I love both of them."
Oh, nice.
Cool. We've talked before about the live action How to Train Your Dragon that DreamWorks is working on since they dropped the trailer last week. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it turns out. I mean, it looks good. I don't see why we need it, though. Fun fact, Gerard Butler, who voiced Stoic, Hiccup's dad in the animated film, is reprising his role for the live action version. Yeah, that happens. Sometimes for good, sometimes for bad. Since the trailer for How to Train Your Dragon dropped, fans have been wondering if DreamWorks will do live action remakes of their other animated films. Honestly, I hope not. There's already one studio doing that, Disney. So DreamWorks, please don't give us live action versions of Shrek, Kung Fu Panda, Bee Movie, Madagascar, Megamind, Shark Tale, or Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron. Especially since that story touches on Native American themes and Disney isn't the only studio telling Native stories. However, if DreamWorks did make a live action The Prince of Egypt, I'd be on board. But only if they bring back Jeff Goldblum, Martin Short, and Steve Martin, plus Ray Fiennes as Ramses, because he was incredible in that role. I was ready for the Wizard of Oz episode. I even sent my notes in early last week, but since there was no show, I guess that's on me. That's okay. And yes, it is the 85th anniversary of the Wizard of Oz. Sorry for the typos in my earlier message. No problem. Speaking of Funko Pops based on musicals, I forgot to mention that Little Shop of Horrors and Grease also have Funko Pops. Everything has Funko Pops now. When I was at GalaxyCon, there were so many booths selling Funko Pops, and I'd see some and I'd be like, really? You made a Funko Pop of that?
Mm-hmm. How's that saying go from a certain cartoon series? Gotta get them all.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about famous movie props, but I forgot to mention that we don't always know where they are. Some props are museums, some are at theme parks, and others at studios. For example, Warner Brothers has props from Harry Potter on display at its London studio tour. Yes. And then some props just get put places where they shouldn't have gone.
Yep.
And get lost or almost lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like the snow globe from Mary Poppins.
Hoggle
from yeah, Hoggle from Labyrinth. Yes, you have to go to a lost luggage store in Alabama to see Hoggle. Or is it Mississippi?
I can't remember.
It's somewhere down there.
Yeah, it's down south.
I'm pretty sure it's Alabama, but it could be Mississippi. It's one of those states. Yeah. Yeah, stuff goes missing all of the time, and sometimes people don't realize it until somebody's like, hey, whatever happened to the only Judy Garland movies I've seen are The Wizard of Oz and A Star is Born. I still need to watch Meet Me in St. Louis and the movies she did with Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire. Did you know that if Wicked had released as originally planned about 5 years ago, it would have coincided with the 80th anniversary of Wizard of Oz? Yeah. I bet that's probably what they were aiming for.
Yeah.
Or maybe. Speaking of Judy Garland, 5 years ago, we did get a Judy Garland related movie, Judy, starring Renee Zellweger, which is all about Judy Garland's life. Yep. Very good movie, too. The songs from The Wiz are such earworms. Yes, they are. Fun facts. Fun fact, The Wiz is currently on tour. Sweet. Some movies based on musicals cut songs from the stage version. Hairspray and Mamma Mia are two examples of this. Also Rent. They cut at least one song from the movie version. So. Fun fact, Mark Platt, the producer of the Wicked movies, has also produced Disney's live action remakes and La La Land. Well, I guess he knows a thing or two about producing stuff with people in it. The dog playing Toto in the Wicked movie is actually a girl dog. Also, there's an animated movie about Toto on the way. Did not know that. Why not?
I'm reading a book. Basically, Toto's telling his side of the story of how the whole thing of Wizard of Oz went down. It's rather interesting, and it's kind of, and they kind of made it more up to date because some of the pop culture references are from, from the past 10, 15 years. So, I mean, it's cool. I'm taking my time reading that one.
Yeah. This year we had Wicked, Gladiator 2, and Moana 2. Next year we're getting Wicked Part 2, The Running Man, and Zootopia 2, which releases during Thanksgiving week. Fun fact, during Wicked Part 2 and The Running Man released on the same day, so maybe we'll call it Running Wicked Day. I read that there were actually 7 pairs of ruby slippers made for the Wizard of Oz, so we don't know where all of them are. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely multiple pairs. It's just there are 3, I believe, that are known to still exist. Again, hindsight is 2020 on some of these things. These companies, these studios, or whatever. A production gets done, and they're like, can we recycle this? Great. That means we could save money. So I've seen movies based on musicals before seeing the stage production. Some examples: Cats, In the Heights, Mamma Mia, Wicked, soon, West Side Story, Funny Girl. I'm still planning on seeing the stage versions of Wicked, In the Heights, West Side Story, and Funny Girl, as you should. I'm very excited to go see Wicked next year. Did you know that the actress playing Nessa Rose in the Wicked movie actually uses a wheelchair? She was in an accident and now uses one in real life. That's very cool. I'm glad that someone who is, I don't know what the proper terminology is, different. I don't know if they differently abled is still acceptable or not. That's the most current verbiage I know, so that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm sorry if my verbiage is out of date. Someone with a disability, someone who uses a mobility aid.
There we go.
In real life, was actually cast for the role as opposed to hiring someone who is, doesn't require something like that and then making them do that. So I really think Wicked is going to get a ton of award nominations this year. Yes, it is actually. That is another piece of news that I forgot is we got
Was it Golden Globes?
yes, we got Golden Globe nominations that I completely forgot about. Like I knew there was something that I was forgetting in the news. Yes. Let us tangent here off to the actually that we're almost at the end of Shalane's, and then we'll go over to Golden Globe nominations. And yes, it feels like we're in a year-long intermission with a 2-part Wicked movie. Yes. So yeah, speaking of awards, circling around to the Golden Globes, which are actually in like 20 days. So they're actually not that far away. Not long after the beginning of the new year. We have got, of course, the Gold Globes. They differentiate between drama. They have categories for drama versus musical and or comedy. Those are two different categories. So Dune Part 2 is in drama. Wicked is in musical or comedy. So, motion picture animated. We've got Inside Out 2, Moana 2. The Wild Robot, I've heard really good things about that. The motion picture non-English language, I don't recognize anything in there. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture drama. Some familiar faces in there: Angelina Jolie, Kate Winslet, Nicole Kidman, Pamela Anderson. I saw the trailer for that. The Last Showgirl. Pam might be making a comeback. Male actor in a motion picture drama: Adrian Brody, Daniel Craig, Ray Fiennes, Sebastian Stan for playing a certain now president.
Oh boy.
In the that's also Sebastian got nominated for playing Donald Trump. Oh my. Anyway, female actor in a motion picture, musical comedy: Cynthia Erivo, Wicked. There you go. And nobody from Wicked in the male category. So there you go. And Ariana got a supporting role nomination for Wicked. So, which I know some people could argue that Elphaba and Glinda equals screen time. Obviously, listen to Gold Standard, screen time sometimes doesn't mean diddly squat when it comes to awards. I would say for part one, it is definitely more Elphaba focused, and I think that having Cynthia get the lead nomination makes sense. Now, when we get to part two, that's going to be a little different. Because while overall Wicked is Elphaba's story, hence the subtitle, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, the book itself is very Elphaba focused, and therefore the musical it's called Wicked. It's about Elphaba.
Right.
However, Glinda has a lot more to do in part two. So it will be interesting to see how they do acting nominations after part two is released. My guess is it may depend on what awards these gals walk away with this coming season.
Right. They might flip it, or who knows.
Right. Because if Cynthia walks away with some trophies, then they may not feel like they need to push her as much next go round. That is my 2 cents, though. So, looking at some of the other categories, Hans Zimmer, Best Original Score, Dune Part 2. Cinematic and box office achievement. Which movie made the most cash? Alien Romulus, Beetlejuice, Deadpool and Wolverine, Gladiator 2, Inside Out 2, Wild Robot, Twisters, or Wicked? Gee, I wonder. I think that's going to be a toss-up between Deadpool and Wolverine and Wicked. Let's see. Because Golden Globes also does television, so we got Best Television Series Drama. How did Squid Game get nominated when season 2 isn't out yet?
Good question.
That being said, Best Television Musical or Comedy? Murders in the building.
Woo-hoo. Yes.
What about acting though for our
I
oh
think there was
yes.
some.
Female
They got
actor in a television series, musical or comedy. We've got Catherine Hahn for Agatha All Along and
nice.
Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building.
I'd be happy if either of them won.
And then for the men, we've got both Martin Short and Steve Martin.
Yay. I
Both
wouldn't mind a tie in that category if it was between those two.
Yeah. Any more for Only Murders or Things Like That? Doesn't look like it. That's okay. So, yes, award season. It is starting.
Yes.
Oh my. How did that happen? I do not know. How is Christmas next week? Oh, I do not know. Anyway, let's go back
Yeah.
to feedback because we
Yep.
also got feedback from
Hey, Aaron.
Aaron says, "Hello, our wonderful Fiveish hosts. The Wizard of Oz is a staple at almost everyone's childhood, no matter the age. Perhaps my favorite memory is when I attended the Catholic school. They always chose plays that were royalty free to put on. So we didn't do The Wizard of Oz. We did the thinly veiled knockoff Over the Rainbow with just enough small changes that they could get away with calling it original. The few changes I remember, Dorothy had a cat, not a dog, but it was still named Toto. I guess that's better than a cow named Bessie, like in the book.
Yeah.
No, in the first stage version, it was a cow
Yeah.
named Bessie.
Mhm.
Yeah. The songs had random words substituted with synonyms.
Oh, jeepers. Oh, boy.
They followed the Golden Brick Road, not yellow.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess phonetically that still works. Follow the Golden Brick Road. Follow the
Road.
Golden Brick Road.
Follow.
I
Yep.
do own all of the Frank Elbaum books on audio format due to Audible having all the books as one big audiobook. But I have
Oh,
yet to
nice.
listen to them. I keep meaning to start, but every time I look at that 70-hour length, I let out a deep sigh. Well, nobody said you had to listen to it all in one go.
Right. You can take breaks.
Oh. I mean, you got it on Audible. You own it. You can take your time
Mm-hmm.
until Audible goes somewhere. But, yeah, until then. Uh, hopefully it doesn't. As for Wicked,
Exactly.
I really didn't like the stage musical. I won't say it was a bad production, it just wasn't my kind of musical, so I had very little interest in the movie. However, almost everyone has had nothing but rave reviews for it, so I ended up seeing it last week. Here's the thing, it's still not my kind of musical, but I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, so I do intend to watch part 2 when it releases next year. Haha, you will be converted. Resistance is futile.
Ooh, I understood that reference.
Yeah. Take care, Aaron. Thank you, Adam.
Yes, thank
And
you.
Shalane, as
Yes.
always. So, moving on to this week's main topic, as I mentioned, we were due to talk a holiday movie, but maybe not the one you were thinking I was thinking of, because all y'all listening were like, she's talking about Die Hard, isn't she? Like, no, not this time, not Die Hard. But another movie I can quote very well, and that is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, or as
Vacation.
most everyone just calls it, Christmas Vacation.
Vacation. Yep.
Even though it is part of the larger National Lampoon's series of films.
Yeah. Let's just put it this way. This is always ever since it came out to view in the home, it's been a tradition. Every Thanksgiving after we eat dinner, on it comes. So I have that thing memorized.
Yeah. It's one that gets watched every year at some point while we're up at my in-laws. It is not one that I watched regularly until I married into this family.
Heck, even if I know if it's coming on, I'll throw it on in the background for background noise.
Yeah. So,
if I had my option of the 24-hour marathon of the Christmas Story or National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, I'm thinking I'm going with Family Griswold.
oh
Maybe
hell yes.
maybe one viewing of the Christmas Story, but the rest I'm
Oh
spending with the
no,
Griswolds.
no. I would rather sit and watch paint dry than watch A Christmas Story. So that is right up there with It's a Wonderful Life. The less I have to consume of that, the better. I despise both of those movies with every fiber in my being.
So
Just in
no
case
red
none of
light or
y'all,
BB gun for
just in
you.
case none of y'all heard my rants about It's a Wonderful Life on Gold Standard
Yeah.
Patreon. So if you're not a Patreon supporter, then you haven't heard it. So, but if you want to, go support Gold Standard or Patreon.
Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Yes, I just like there's a lot of things that I dislike, and everyone, deserves to like or dislike whatever they want. But when it comes to holiday movies, yes, Christmas Story and It's a Wonderful Life, I despise both of those movies with every fiber of my being. So this, on the other hand, not so much. Not my first pick, obviously, but it is still a good pick. Now we have mentioned this movie when we did our episode a couple of Christmases ago about Home Alone, because this movie is, in a roundabout way, the reason we got the Home Alone we all know and love. Because after the National Lampoon's Vacation, Wally World, sorry folks, parks closed, moose outside, she told you.
Yep.
That and European Vacation, they wanted to make another one. And the thing is, while John Hughes was more than happy to write the script, because I mean, it's John Hughes, the man knows how to write, good characters and comedy. They could not get someone to direct this movie.
Really?
Yeah. And so they asked John Hughes if he wanted to write a new Lampoon movie. He's like, he'd only do it if there was a good story. The series would have been decently enough that Chevy Chase, in theory, his star power would lend to it. And he's funny. So that gave John Hughes, a lot to work with right there and then. But he worked at National Lampoon magazine and found a story called Christmas 59, and that was kind of the inspiration for writing this movie.
Oh, cool.
Script easy, director not so much. John Hughes, they're like, hey John, you're writing the script, you want to direct it too? And he's like, no, sorry. I'm happy writing the script, I think. And he was also busy doing some other stuff as well. So, but he was doing post-production on Uncle Buck. So then they called it in. Well, I'm not entirely sure exactly the order. At one point, they contacted Harold Ramis, who obviously Ghostbusters, the guy knows his way around. Chevy Chase proposed the idea of bringing Harold Ramis, who directed the original Vacation, but he was tied up with Ghostbusters 2, so he had to decline. Chris Columbus was actually hired and was getting ready to shoot the movie and realized that he did not want to work with Chevy Chase.
Hmm.
Even though Chris really needed a job, he was not really willing to sacrifice the headache that would be working with Chevy Chase, because Chevy Chase is notoriously difficult to work with. He's funny as hell, but he is notoriously difficult to work with. So yeah, he quits. It just so happens that because he quit, John Hughes is like, "Oh, you're free now? Great. How would you like to direct this movie, Home Alone?" Which obviously Chris did. Home Alone went on to make over 6 times as much money as Christmas Vacation did. Granted, they were released a year apart, but still. Home Alone made a shit ton more money than Christmas Vacation did, with a smaller budget. So, so yeah, they went through several directors, before they actually got, uh, their their director, Jeremiah Chechik, I think. I think that's how you pronounce that. He's from Canada, from Quebec, so I'm guessing that's somewhat French. Uh, so, um, oh, he is, his credits are interesting. So he was nominated for Worst Director at the 1998 Golden Raspberry Awards for his version of the Avengers, and no, not Marvel's The Avengers, the spy television show, British television show from the 60s. So that Avengers.
Yeah. The non-Marvelly adventures.
The non-Marvelly adventures. Yeah. So and if you're familiar with the music of the Lampoon movies,
we had Lindsey Buckingham doing Holiday Road from the very
right,
first one.
Yep. And actually Lindsey Buckingham was approached to write the theme.
Oh, wow.
Obviously that did not happen.
No.
Yeah. As the opening song, Christmas Vacation, is performed by Mavis Staples of the Staple Singers.
And she does an awesome job.
Right, yeah. But yeah, Lindsey Buckingham had been approached about writing the theme. He declined because he didn't want to be known as only a soundtrack musician.
Dude,
you were
part
in
of
Fleetwood Mac.
Yes, I'm thinking the exact same thing.
I read that and I'm like, yeah, when somebody says the name Lindsey Buckingham, I don't think movie scores or soundtracks. I think Fleetwood Mac.
And you being Stevie Nicks' ex. Bingo. Yes. Probably Stevie Nicks' ex first, then Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that's true. But still, soundtrack artist is not the first thing I think of when I think of Lindsey.
That's at the bottom of the barrel. That's the bottom of the barrel.
I know.
I
don't know. That's just what I read on the internet, and it must be true.
Right.
So
I'm thinking that's more of a him problem. Not
I mean, to be fair, he has done several movie soundtracks throughout his career.
Yes. Granted, yes. But was anybody holding him at gunpoint to do them?
Right.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
At least not that I'm aware of.
Right. Yeah. But at the same time, yeah, dude, you were Fleetwood Mac more than once.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, what do I know?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just thought that was funny.
Yeah.
So, obviously, the film, while set in Chicago, because this is a John Hughes movie, uh, it was shot, in, Warner Brothers, uh, lots in California and somewhat in, Colorado. Um, and okay, so they went to Colorado specifically to film some stuff that required snow.
Hmm.
Right? You're in
Right.
California, you need snow. Some of the stuff, especially at exterior house scenes, were filmed in
Mm-hmm.
California. They did the fake snow thing with paper and foam and shaved ice and stuff like
Probably
that.
potato flakes.
Exactly, which are very salty. Just ask anyone in Lord of the Rings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, um, that being said, the faux snow can only get you so far. So they're like, okay, well, where can we go that we're very likely to get a decent amount of snow? Colorado. That makes sense. Rocky Mountains, snow, snowy Rocky Mountains. It's a reason that they're part of beer branding for as long as you can remember. It tastes the Rockies. Um However, specifically Breckenridge, Colorado, which it's known for heavy snowfall. They get there, no snow. None. Nada. Zippo. No snow. So they had to truck in snow.
Oh, jeez. So basically, kind of, White Christmas. Oh, yeah, Vermont's going to have a lot of snow. 80 and sunny.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what the temperatures were like. It was just no snow. So yeah, they end up trucking in snow. Guess what happens right after they truck in all this snow? Breckenridge gets 10 feet of snow in 3 days. There was so much snow. They had to use bearcats instead, like snowcats, to get around to get to the shooting location. It's like them trucking in snow was like doing a rain dance. There was a snow dance instead. I mean, 10 feet in 3 days, that is a lot of snow very fast. So, which I'm sure the people in Colorado are like, oh, yeah, this is the way it normally is. The people from California are like, what the hell do we do? We're from California. Uh, so, not that the California filming went a whole lot better. The scene where Uncle Lewis and Aunt Bethany arrive at the Griswold house, which would have been filmed back at the studio lot, there was an earthquake. California. Why not? Why not have an earthquake? So. Oh my. Oh, goodness gracious. So, yeah. Oh, pardon me. So yeah, I mean, this is uh very par for the course with the National Lampoon's movies. You've got your kind of your stereotypical American family. You got the husband played by Chevy Chase, who's Clark Griswold, but his wife Ellen calls him Sparky, played by Beverly D'Angelo. Um, uh, Audrey, their daughter, was recast In this particular movie, played by Juliette Lewis.
Yep.
And Russ, or Rusty, is also recast. This time played by a very young Johnny Galecki. Funnily enough, Rusty had previously been portrayed by Anthony Michael Hall. If you know your John Hughes movies. You've got and this, it's a collection of characters. You've got the Clark and his oh so patient wife and their 2 kids, and Clark wants the family to have the best old-fashioned family Christmas that has ever happened in the history of Christmases. Unfortunately, Christmas usually means family, and in this case, both Clark and Ellen's side of the family are a cast of characters. So you got Clark's father and mother, because Clark is actually Clark Griswold Jr., so his father, Clark Griswold Sr., played by John Randolph. Diane Ladd plays Clark's mother, Nora. You've got Art, Ellen's father, played by E.G. Marshall. You have Frances, Ellen's mother, played by Doris Roberts, who, if you're a certain age, you probably know her best as the mother on Everybody Loves Raymond.
Loves Raymond, yes.
Yes.
I'm wondering,
very similar character in this. I think Doris may have made a career out of playing busybody mothers.
Yes. I think when they saw her, it's like, hey, she'd be perfect.
Yes. Miriam Flynn as Catherine, Ellen's cousin, and Catherine's oh so classy husband, Eddie, played by Randy Quaid. And their 2 kids, Rocky and Ruby. Rocky has an unidentified lip fungus, and Ruby Sue used to be cross-eyed.
Yeah, till the donkey kicked her.
William
Which is
Hickey
surprising, but okay.
Yeah, as Uncle Lewis. Clark's uncle. You got Mae Questel as Aunt Bethany. This was her last role. Yeah, if her voice sounds familiar, it's because she is the OG voice of Betty Boop.
Okay.
And actually, yes, that was her voicing Betty Boop in Who Framed Roger Rabbit the year before.
Oh, wow.
That was her last performance as Betty Boop. Then you've got Clark's, a few of his co-workers. You've got Frank Shirley, Clark's boss, who's gonna come in to play later. And yes, if you're like Frank Shirley, that Brian Doyle Murray playing Frank Shirley, yes. If you're like, oh, his last name's Murray, any relation to? Yes, his younger brother is Bill Murray. You got Frank's wife, and you've got Nicholas Guest as Todd, and Julia Louise-Dreyfus as Margot.
Yes. I don't know why the
husband and
carpet's
wife,
wet.
yuppie neighbors to the Griswold house.
And whiny.
Yes. Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know,
Margot. We say that all the time.
Yep.
Doesn't even matter what it's completely out of context. Most of the time we use it. Don't matter.
Where are you gonna put that?
Yeah. Bend over, I'll show you. Yes.
Exactly.
There's a really good one line quote of a lines with those 2, with Todd and Margot. So
oh yes.
Yeah. But the idea is that Clark Griswold means well. he's a bit of an idiot.
Yeah, our lovable idiot nonetheless.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. He just manages to make things happen that he doesn't necessarily intend to. I mean, it's very much kind of your, like, you're a pain in the ass. You're constantly running things or destroying things or getting yourself hurt or possibly getting someone else hurt or whatever. But you don't mean it. You don't mean to be destructive, and therefore we can't hate you
right.
type of character. Very much like, Charlie Chaplin or someone like that, where it's like, oh, you're so clumsy, but we can't hate you. Um, but yeah. So Clark is trying to do all the traditional things. They go out and cut their own tree. They forget to bring a saw. They manage to still finagle the tree. The tree is way too big for their house.
Yep. And very young and fresh, sappy.
That is true. Problem is with live trees, you need to make sure that they stay hydrated.
Water. Yes.
Otherwise, they become very flammable very quickly. Which we learn later. Also, if you're going to get a tree from the wild, make sure it's free of critters.
Yes, exactly.
Just because it's not like an oak tree where there's, or a walnut tree where there may be nuts or something that a squirrel might be running around collecting, doesn't mean that a squirrel might not be in that tree.
Yep.
All I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So, squirrels in house. Bad idea.
Yep.
Oh. And of course, trying to fit that many people in the house is wild. So at least Cousin Eddie he brought up with his own sleeping accommodations. We will give him that.
Yes.
He wasn't invited, but at least he brought his own bed.
Yeah. Now, the other accommodation, on the other hand, that he had brought with his accommodations, the emptying of some others, not the smartest move.
Yeah,
but
there's a reason that, and anybody who's had an RV will know this. I've never personally owned an RV, but we did have one for a while there. So I know. I know what it takes to go on a trip in an RV. And there's a reason that you can't empty your, we're going to call it brown water.
Yes.
Just anywhere.
Yeah.
So, one, that's just gross and unsanitary.
Yeah.
Two,
chemicals?
Yes, because a lot of these vehicles, for things like, your used water from bathing, using the toilet, if you've got any sort of kitchenette and you have the ability to wash dishes, that water, it's going to go into a receptacle until you can dispose of it properly. But it doesn't just go into just any old receptacle. It's going to go into a receptacle that also contains chemicals that help make sure that, your RV doesn't end up smelling like crap. It helps, break down some of the waste and stuff like that. So it makes it a bit more, less dangerous.
Yeah.
That being said,
it's still
kind of dangerous. So, yeah, you know why? You hear some people talk about cow farts.
Methane.
Yes, same idea. Guess what? Methane's flammable.
Yes.
Very much like a dry Christmas tree.
That too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've actually been on an RV trip. Some of that technology may have improved, but I'm guessing at the end of the day, your crap is still crap and it's still crap. So you know, so yeah, you don't just dispose of that anywhere, especially not near an open flame.
Nope.
Although it makes one hell of a light show. Um,
Yes. Northern
especially
Lights.
especially for Aunt Bethany.
Uh,
Um, just makes you want to break out into the Star
National
Spangled
Anthem,
Banner,
single
does it?
banner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. So yeah. Yeah, cramming all these people that don't get along into this house, displacing his kids.
Siblings
uh
having to share a bedroom.
yes, dealing with all of that. Yeah, crazy cousin Eddie and his
Yep. And
crazy
I
family and the
love,
crazy dog.
I mean,
Snot.
yes. And I love the mom's response to the sisters, like, I got to share a bedroom with him. She's like, oh, I'm sleeping with your father. I'm just like, oh boy. Yikes. Gives a peek into that relationship.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, when people talk about their family and, they talk about family get togethers and they're all like, that every family's got that one relative. Odds are it's one of these like caricatures.
Uh-huh.
It's like, what
Yep.
do you have? Do you have an Aunt Bethany? You got a cousin Eddie? What do you got?
Yep.
Some people have more than one.
Exactly.
I know I do.
Mhm.
So, but the biggest plot in this is that Clark is expecting a
A,
bonus.
uh-huh. Air quotes.
That yes,
Bonus. Yeah.
yeah, they're the company he works for, which is
An
very
advertising
vague.
company, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it was some sort of advertising, and I guess sometimes when they're working on advertising campaigns, it means they can get their hands on products, hence the wax or whatever he puts on the sled that
Oh,
sends
yes.
him ludicrous speed. Um,
Yes. Right into a Walmart parking lot.
yeah,
And at
exactly.
that time, none of us, at least our family, did not know about a Walmart because we
Yeah,
didn't have them in Wisconsin at that point in time.
yeah,
About maybe 9, 10 years later, yep, we had a Walmart.
yeah. Um, but yeah, at his company, the employees have come to expect a end of the year bonus. So
A
Clark,
nicely sized bonus.
yeah, I mean, we're talking late 80s money, but even
Yeah.
then, in late 80s money, he put that, he's you gonna
Down
use that
payment for
bonus to
a,
pay for an in-ground pool,
yeah,
you
that's
know?
a bonus.
Yeah. That's a decent bonus.
Hmm.
Um so but yeah, he's put like down the deposit, but he needs a bonus to pay for the
Cover.
rest of it.
Yeah.
And while dealing with this and that and the other thing, Clark is just like, I just need to make it. Like, wait for the bonus, waiting for the bonus, waiting for the bonus, waiting for the bonus. Finally, it reaches Christmas Eve, I think.
Hmm.
And just everything that can go wrong has. Eddie is like, me and my family are flat broke, so he offers, to buy their kids some Christmas presents and also help buy like dog food and stuff. Apparently John Hughes just thinks everybody who lives in Chicago has just got money.
Hmm.
Uh I mean some people do.
Yeah.
Uh the Home Alone house, it's real. Uh at least from the outside, it is that big. So yeah, it's a decent sized house. It's not cheap. Especially that neighborhood it's in. Chauncey's been there. Um uh so cousin Eddie is playing on Clark's good nature, wanting to help out family, especially kids. He doesn't want to,
Hmm.
even though cousin Eddie is obviously very redneck, it's not the kids' fault who their parents are.
No.
Um, his parents and Ellen's parents do not get along, constantly bickering at each other. Aunt Bethany can't hear worth a damn, can't see worth a damn.
Hmm.
It's very
Memory's not the
confused.
greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, her memory's not the greatest. She thinks that Clark moved to Florida, even though it's snowing out. They're in the middle of
Mhm.
snow. She brought her cat that she accidentally wrapped in a present, even though she remembered to
Mhm.
put food in with the cat mixed in with Jello.
Yep.
So we've all decided, at least I've decided that is Schrodinger's cat, actually.
Yeah.
Even though Schrodinger was way before this. It's a
Mhm.
timey-wimey thing.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure the doctor maybe saw this movie and then told Schrodinger about it or something, and that's where he got the
Yeah.
idea. I don't know. Um, and of course the cat gets loose,
Mhm.
which, they got the crazy dog. That's not helping any.
Nope.
There's the squirrel that comes in with the tree.
Yep. That doesn't help matters any.
That doesn't help any. Clark has pushed the house to the limit with the amount of strings of lights that
Yes.
are humanly possible to have both on and inside a house.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that he can't seem to
It,
get to work.
flip the switch.
Yes.
I mean, and
Um,
holy plugs. I mean, power
yeah.
strip, fire
Yeah.
hazard.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a disaster waiting to happen with a
Uh-huh.
capital dis.
Yeah.
Um, and the cat ends up chewing on some of the lines of lights and electrocuting itself. The tree
And
catches on fire thanks
burning up
to,
all of its 9 lives.
yes,
Uh,
all at
uh, t-
once.
yep. Thanks to a stogie.
Yes. Yeah,
Mhm.
the tree goes up in flames thanks to a misplaced stogie.
Mhm.
That's also going to come in
Yeah,
again.
that's gonna come
That
into
is
play. Yeah.
that
Yep.
is Chekhov's stogie right there. Um,
Yep. Forget the
um,
gun. The
yeah,
stogie's more dangerous in this
yeah,
case.
really, yeah. So the tree goes up in flames. The turkey gets overcooked.
Hmm.
Um, and then so
Clark
just
gets lost up in the attic.
yes, he accidentally gets locked in the attic. Which turns out to not necessarily be a bad thing.
No, that was
Um,
cute. That was
yeah,
cute.
it is cold up there, but
Hmm.
it's all good. Got to watch some old home movies, which is pretty cool.
And
Um,
then found a belated Mother's Day gift that should have been given how many years ago?
yeah,
Oh, that's where I hid that. Okay.
yeah. Pretty sure that's back when they only had one child, not two.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that bit's not too bad. So,
No.
um, other than Clark accidentally, busting a hole in, in the ceiling. Uh,
Yep.
but yeah, the straw that breaks the camel's back is the mail finally arrives on
Yes.
Christmas Eve from Clark's boss. And
Hmm.
instead of it being a big fat bonus, it is a subscription to the Jelly of the Month
Chili of the
Club.
Month Club. Yeah. Well, and to add insult to injury too, it was stuck in the mail on the bottom of the for a couple of days. It's like, ooh,
Mm-hmm.
ouch.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, that pushes Clark
Yep.
right over the edge.
That was the tipping point.
Yeah. Thankfully, cousin Eddie, who tends
Yes.
to take things quite literally,
Brilliant cousin Eddie.
the smartest thing he does is when
Yep.
Clark says he wants his boss right
Wrapped
there
up.
in front of
Yep.
him so he can insult him to his face. That's exactly what cousin Eddie does. Is he goes and kidnaps Clark's boss.
Yep. And I love the fact too when everybody comes, the cops and that, and then the wife shows up.
Mm-hmm.
She has no sympathy for her husband. She's like, I told
Oh
you
no,
not
none of
to
them
do
do.
that.
Like SWAT
Yeah.
shows up. They're like busting in, the house. They also bust into Todd Margot's,
Oh, that was that. Oh, that.
which
Oh,
that
that
just
was.
makes things
That was.
better.
Yeah, it
Uh,
does.
honestly,
Yep.
and And then, then Mr. Shirley's wife shows up. She's like, my husband's been kidnapped from our house, and on Christmas Eve, and it's like, But then when the cops and the SWAT team and Frank's wife hear about what he's done, he's just so ashamed. He's all like, fine, I'll give you your bonus with the additional added on to it. So it's like, like, who needs 3 ghosts to visit you when you can just get kidnapped from your mansion in the middle of the night in Chicago?
Thanks to Cousin Eddie.
Thanks to Cousin Eddie. So.
Yeah, this is the relative we've all warned you about.
Yes. Hey, you know what they say? Even a stuck clock is right twice a day. So
exactly,
there's hope for Cousin Eddie.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's funny, and it's a nice little ending, and then they finally Clark gets the lights on so that everybody can see, and they have a nice moment outside, and I think it's Frank lights up another stogie and decides to stand near the sewer hole where Cousin Eddie's been dumping the RV.
Yep.
And that's when we find out the menthol is also flammable.
Yep. And we get
methane.
Yep. And we get a nice, pretty aurora borealis too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things, kind of like the snow in Doctor Who from the Christmas Invasion.
Yep.
Where it's like, you don't want to think about what that actually is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's snow, great, fantastic snow. Yeah. So yeah, this was actually the last of the Lampoon films that did decent.
Yes.
They tried to do a Cousin Eddie one.
Yeah, there was a Vegas one, and then they tried to do I think they did do Vegas, and then they did it
several years later.
Christmas too, but I heard that one is not good.
And Randy Quaid ended up getting himself into trouble with the IRS and fled off to, I think it was Canada, where he was squatting illegally, trying not to get extradited.
Christmas
he went
Vacation
off the deep end for a little while. Supposedly he may have straightened himself out.
The sequel for Christmas Vacation 2 is called Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure. Consolidated in the South Pacific goes awry when Cousin Eddie's family and a tour guide are shipwrecked on an island.
Because supposedly the Vacation did really well. European Vacation did decent enough, but for some reason the powers that be thought that it didn't do as well as the OG Vacation because Cousin Eddie wasn't in it. I don't know why.
Right.
But that seemed to be the thought. If it eventually, obviously, the next planned one was actually supposed to be another, either somewhere in Europe or another road trip or something like that. It wasn't going to be set at Christmas, but they couldn't get any of them to work. So that's when John Hughes was like, Christmas, let's do that. Thank goodness for John Hughes again. So, but yeah, there were plans for a whole bunch of other, Switzerland and Hawaii and all sorts of other wild ideas, but unfortunately after this the franchise just kind of seemed to putter out, until they did Vegas, but that was there was quite a bit of time, I think, in between Vegas and this one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, Chevy Chase's reputation preceding him.
Mm-hmm.
So, that being said, this one is pretty pretty high up there as far as movies that people are like, oh yes, we always watch this one at Christmas time. I mean, at the time it was released, the reviews were mixed. It's got 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.2 out of 10. It's I mean, an audience poll on Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of B plus,
Not
which
bad.
isn't bad.
No.
It's yeah, so it was okay. It was number 2 in the box office opening weekend, grossed almost $12 million. It was up against Back to the Future Part 2. So it did top the box office charts in its third week and remain number 1 the following weekend. It went on to gross a total of 7.1 million US while showing in movie theaters. It was the highest grossing film of the series until the release of uh Vacation in 2015, which we don't even talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
I think I only made it through 5 minutes of that one before I'm like, I'm good.
yeah, it's it's Ed Helms playing a grown-up Rusty.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you just see Chevy and Beverly return,
Mm-hmm.
who apparently have moved to San Francisco and now own a bed and breakfast. So yeah, I mean the cast, it looks like it should be good, is the
Right.
thing,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
like Ed Helms. Yeah, sure. He's the Daily Show. He's on The Office. He's in The Hangover. Christina Applegate plays Rusty's wife. You got some slightly lesser. No, you got Chris Hemsworth.
Mm-hmm.
Who's apparently married Audrey. So Audrey's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Mann playing Audrey. Um, so it's not a bad cast, but it's just bleh. Yeah, we don't talk about that one. Um, um, so yeah. But despite its misgivings when it was released, it is a cult classic. I'm gonna say it's a cult classic because it did halfway decent. Usually cult
Mm-hmm.
classics usually tend to have not done well when they originally released. And this was halfway, all things considering, not not bad. So again, is it the first one I go to? No, not necessarily. I'm more of a Home Alone person myself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about this kind of type of comedy, a lot of physical comedy,
Yep.
very very quotable. I'm gonna take Home Alone over this,
Mm-hmm.
but if it's on, I got nothing else
Yep.
to do. Yeah, sure, I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that at the moment, as of this recording, it is streaming on Hulu. So for some reason you don't own it, uh if you have Hulu, it is available. And HBO Max, if you have a subscription to that. But of course we own it.
Same here.
Have for ages. But
Mm-hmm. couple different versions,
Mhm.
original, anniversary.
Yeah, I mean, this is an anniversary year for the movie because it's
Hmm.
now what 35,
I think so.
something like that. So 89. So yeah,
Yeah, 10 years old when that came out. Man, time flies.
yeah, yeah. It would have been 6. Definitely not something I would have watched at the time.
No, nope. Yep, I think 10-year-old me went to the movie theater with my parents to see that one, and then when it came out for a physical copy, I think we picked it up.
I think this is one of those movies where like I had seen it in bits and pieces enough to have pretty much seen the movie, just not in order.
Right? You kind of got
There's a
the
number of
gist.
those. I got
Yeah.
a number of those where I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that, just not properly.
Oh, wait a
So
minute. That comes first, and then okay, that makes a little more sense now.
exactly. So, but yeah, I look forward to watching this at some point, probably this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as we finish getting ready for the holidays. Like we've got everything, but we still have a crap ton to wrap.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
at this
hear ya.
point, we are wrapping in stages based on who are we going to see in
That works.
in the near future. It's like your stuff. It's
Yeah,
like, oh, we're
who
going to
are we
see you and
seeing?
you. Your stuff's getting
Okay.
wrapped.
Yep.
Oh, we're not seeing
Yours
you
can
for a
wait.
week. Your stuff's going to wait.
Yep, exactly.
Thankfully, we don't have an attic for stuff to get lost for the next like 20 years.
Just good. That's a
At
good
least
thing.
not yet.
Right. Yep.
Maybe if we ever do have an attic, that may happen. Uh oh, any more thoughts? Otherwise we're just gonna continue quoting the movie.
I think we're good. I think we covered it.
Yeah.
I think we covered it all because I think basically we're pretty much the show is it's like we start quoting favorite scenes and chaos is gonna break loose.
Yeah. Strap the damn cat.
Why is it leaking? What is it? I'm Jello.
Shitter was full.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's another one.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Da, 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 da. Kiss my
Yep.
ass. Kiss his ass. Yep.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass. Kiss your ass. Kiss his ass. Merry Christmas.
Yep. Yep. See what I mean? Yeah. But to that point.
Yeah. That's gonna be me on the way out of work on Friday, except I'm not gonna mean it. Thankfully, I got at least one coworker that's like her absolute favorite Christmas movie of all time. So I can quote it
Yay.
and I know she's not going to be offended.
Right.
So,
Exactly. Because she knows exactly where you're coming from.
yes. Yeah. Oh, and at one point, you probably have to scour like eBay for it now. But at one point, I do believe Hallmark sold a ornament replica of the RV,
Yes, they did.
and it had a button, and if you pushed it, you had Cousin Eddie going, "Shitter's full,"
Yep.
because we have some friends that have it. So
Yep.
us, not so much. I did buy some Christmas vacation themed wrapping paper though, so that is ready. Speaking of wrapping
No.
presents, that is ready to go. So it's a cartoon version of Clark and the RV and stuff. So,
Oh, cool.
woo, excuse
Oh,
me.
bless you. Bless you.
I'll have to once something gets wrapped and it looks all nice, I'll take a picture and post it so
Yay. Please
y'all
do.
can see it. I bought it at Five Below, so if you have a Five Below
Oh.
near you, you may want to check it.
Ooh, I thought it was
It's
a
like
couple
five,
blocks
it's
away.
like
Good to
five
know.
dollars or less than $5 for
$5. Wrapping
yeah.
paper, that's cheap.
Yeah. Yep.
Especially licensed too. That's even better.
Mm-hmm. Well, if any of our listeners want to give us their 2 cents on Christmas Vacation or any of the National Lampoon movies, I guess, you can send us feedback, much like Aaron and Shalane did. Our email is fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also go to our website, which is thefivishfangirls.com, where you can connect with all of our various podcast-related social media accounts and our personal ones as well, along with links to the Goodreads book club and also ways you can financially support us if you are so inclined. You can do everything from one-time donations, either through Ko-Fi or PayPal, up to becoming a regular supporter on Patreon or purchasing something off of our merch store, which is currently on Redbubble. That may change next year. We'll see.
Okay.
Looking into some possible other storefront options that are slightly better. So Redbubble's been nice. Their quality's been hit and miss. So
Gotcha.
and we want to make sure you guys are getting
Good
stuff for your money. So there's a few other companies out there that are come highly recommended from other content creators. So check those out.
Nice.
So we shall see. To be determined. We'll probably have more info for you when we return next year. The reminder, we are going to be off for the rest of the year, so we'll be back first Monday, at least as far as recording is concerned. First Monday in January, so that all of us can finish out, those of us that get a holiday break, can finish up the work week.
Yes.
And prepare to travel if necessary. I know Chrissy's definitely got traveling in her future. So Brittany can finish up all of her overtime and then collect that sweet paycheck. I have to travel as well, with a lot of stuff that usually stuff we do every year, but the schedule tends to be wide open. It just as people call or text, stuff gets added to the schedule. So
yeah,
leave the schedule as wide open as possible.
Yeah.
So that when somebody is like, "Hey, want to come over and play cards or something?" we can be like, "Absolutely, I'll be there. 2 hours,
Right.
or something like that." So just time to kick back and spend time with friends, family, loved ones, that sort of thing, without having to worry about having to make sure that we can get together, record and edit and upload and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
So, plus, we're waiting for Doctor Who.
That too.
We're not gonna. The episode is not going to be out yet by next Monday. It doesn't come out until Christmas. So
no, yeah.
So yeah, we'll be back after the new year to talk about Joy to the World.
Yes.
With Shudigatwa.
Yes, looking forward to it.
His first Christmas special.
Yay!
Kind of.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yes.
All right. Well, with that, we shall sign off, not only for this week, but this year.
All right. This is Holly from Wisconsin, wishing you a good evening and a happy new year. Happy holidays, everybody.
This is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana, saying, be careful, everybody. Mother Nature can be very tricky this time of year. A lot of people are going to be on the roads, so, watch what you're doing. Don't go accidentally drifting under any semis.
Yeah. Yeah. This is before road rage became a thing.
Yeah. Or those sensors on your car that would beep at you if you got something got too close. Oh my. Oh. And have a good rest of the holiday season, whatever it is you celebrate. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all the good stuffs. And very safe and happy New Year's celebration to you. And we will see you in 2025. And hey, if you're looking for any last minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here. tonight. One him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people, and then one him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ingurate, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, fuck-eyed, stiff-legged, spineless, headed sack of monkey shit he is. Shit, where's the Tylenol? Thank you, our Fiveish fam, for joining us on this week's geeky journey. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Stay connected with us on our website, thefiveishfangirls.com, and follow us on most social media with @FiveishFangirls. Plus, check out our nonprofit, Fangirls Give Back, to see how we're making a positive impact in our community. Until next time, stay nerdy and let the squee continue.